Hey, what's going on, everyone? Brad here from Preeminent Practice. And today I'm going to be talking about some of the core principles to marketing that you need to be able to implement if you're advertising at all, whether it's organic, paid ads, joint ventures, whatever you're doing in your practice. Now, I'm a huge advocate about the foundations of marketing and growing a successful and profitable healthcare business, as I've done multiple times before that provide you with an ideal income, freedom of time, and ultimately satisfaction that the business is functioning without you having to do everything. Marketing and generating new patient bookings are critically important to the success of your business, but are not the only most important aspect to consider. There are three core principles that are the foundational building blocks of your business. In fact, these are the same principles I've been using in my clinics, online businesses for years now. For example, one of my new clients, they increased their monthly revenue over $4,000 by implementing how he communicated number three alone. Now, the first core principle is you must be actively promoting your business. Otherwise, people are not going to engage with you. Imagine you just remodeled your entire clinic, treatment rooms have brand new paint, brand new electrical tables, new front desk, computers, waiting room, everything's decked out, most comfortable lounge chairs in the waiting room. You're ready to launch your new business or simply reopen with a new experience, or maybe you've just relaunched a brand new website, new offer, whatever it may be. You wouldn't just stop there, right? Not at all. You would be out there telling people in the community, your friends, family, social media network, telling them to check it out, book in, and sharing your excitement of how big of an impact you're going to be able to make in their lives. Sharing what's happening in your business is a key factor in getting people familiar with you. It doesn't always need to be massive remodel or doing a new website or anything like that, but even sharing a win from a patient who was struggling for a long period before and simply creating an offer or a simple way to be able to explain that process of a case, what I call case studies, is a critical thing for someone to see and be able to take action with you. Too many people are very passive in what they are doing with the actions that they're taking. People to show up and use their services, but they don't actually do anything to promote or really tell anyone about it. So that's a critical thing. You always want to be telling people about what's new, upcoming, different services and whatnot. I always teach a lot of different strategies based on like sweepstakes, grand opening, other joint venture, community-based events all the time because I want to get other businesses to keep us top of mind and also make things fun and engaging within the community. Now, number two is you must focus on building relationships with the prospect and be invested in the follow-up prospect. Attracting patients is only the first step. I can't tell you how many times I see this where people generate leads, send them messages for a couple days, and then that's it. Not everyone's going to buy from you right away for many reasons, but far too often practitioners follow up maybe, a couple times, couple days before tossing that prospect aside and fear of being too pushy or not having time to be able to do it. The reality is that once you've made the initial contact with a prospect, don't stop engaging with them. Now, I'm not suggesting you bombard nonstop with offers all the time, but rather focus on creating the relationship pathway so that when they are ready to take action, you're ready for them there. And think about this as nurturing, giving them value, building trust, and showing results. Show them that you're interested in solving their prospective patient's problem and asking genuine questions to try to relate to their problems. This is why the value broadcast email that we suggest you use weekly works so well, because for those leads that are unconverted, you're building nurturing value to them. You're showing them social proof. You're building trust, and you're being there as a source when they're ready to take action, as well as obviously having a great reactivation sequence, which we also cover. Those two things together generate a large amount of lost revenue, so to speak, for people just because they are following up and doing that work. It's not good enough to have an excuse of saying, well, I'm too busy or I don't want to be pushy and so on. You've got to be able to take action because people will forget about you very quickly, unfortunately, and they will be always looking for another solution. Now, the last core principle here is you need to solve real problems for people. In the end, you need to prove to the prospects that you're legit and you can help them. And chances are they've tried other things to solve their problem without much success before, and maybe are a little skeptical at trying something new. This is why people stay stuck for years with no action, weight loss, pain management, whatever it may be. And the reality is that there is a gap. I very seldomly met people who have never had massage therapy or chiropractic or acupuncture or physiotherapy or something along those lines. They've tried something. So this is why you need to make sure that your marketing message, your positioning, and the psychological triggers of how you create your and connect to that ideal prospect are dialed in with the solutions that you can provide them. And you need to be able to communicate this in a way simply so the prospect can understand. Being able to communicate how you do things is critical for someone who is skeptical to taking action. We call this the gap. If you go through my modules on creating magnetic marketing message, it's in there of how we can create more specific marketing messages. You can search that on my site, or if you're watching us on social media, you can type it below and we'll send it over to you. But it's a critical step. So if you ever get stuck on how to communicate what the real problem is that you solve, go back to number 2 and ask those genuine questions to further understand the person's problem and what they're having issues with. Remember, people buy solutions, not services. And what gets them to stay on is ultimately what they identify as. And the example I always say is that people, and a lot of people get confused on this too. Well, people don't buy physical therapy, chiropractic, whatever. They also don't buy pain relief, fat loss. They're not buying that. What they're buying is their identity and the psychological triggers behind that. So they're buying not having to feel like the old man who's breaking down and not having to worry that my dad had a hip replacement at 55 and I'm going to go down the same route. Not being sexually attracted to my partner anymore because I'm overweight and I'm not confident and so on. These are things that people are actually buying. So we need to be able to write our messaging and our ads and our whole experience, which I covered in number 2, tailored to that actual person where they are. It's not going to get by anymore going into the new year with just being lazy and sort of like writing the same sequences that everyone else has had, because it's not building a relationship or advancing or nurturing that prospect. Now, these principles may seem really simple and logical, but without a clear understanding of each segment and how they fit into your business, it's easy to lose sight of them amongst the day-to-day business. And I see this happen all the time. People create marketing messages and they map out their journey and what their problem they're solving. But because they're not clear themselves on what they do and they're not actually integrated into a functioning system, they gradually just get kind of skewed. And as the day-to-day goes, they stray farther from what their original plan was. So it's critically important to not only map these core principles out, but stick to them and reevaluate. We generally reevaluate every 30 days and then at a 90 days, like an overall strategic plan for quarters. So when I work with clients and when I work with businesses myself in my own business, I do quarterly plans and always revisiting within 30 days. And there's weekly KPIs and that kind of thing that we track as well to make sure that we're on point. So hopefully you found this video helpful. And if you are struggling with implementing some of these core principles, or you want some extra help on implementing marketing, conversion, and retention systems in your business, so that way you are able to attract better quality people, convert them into plans of care, and ultimately have a business that is more profitable and having to put in less work to running all the systems, then schedule a call. In and around here, there'll be somewhere for you to be able to book a call. And if you have any other questions, always love to reach out to me, and I'll get you on the right path towards having a more successful practice. Thanks again, and hopefully you found this video helpful.